me go here. I'll get back to it eventually. You gotta see how hard they tried not to rebuke him. Watch here. This is the clip. I'll come back next week and play all they said about him.
Attitude of Jay Smith in the debate with Raymond Ibrahim was way different than his debate with David Wood on the same topic. Way different.
Okay, let's go back here.
So, 5 years ago, 2020. All right? 2020. And I want to show some of what Jay says. And I do have to say that the attitude of Jay Smith in the debate with Raymond Ibrahim was way different than his debate with David Wood on the same topic. Way different. So, I want to just start with that, and I want to show some of what he said.
Watch here. Look
about
how
David Wood in their debate. So, let me pull this up, and we will get started on the clips now. And then we're going to get into the debate that happened just yesterday. All right, so let's go.
Without Muhammad, Islam dies. It flits and floats away. Since we now know he didn't exist, Islam has had its day.
Look.
David believes he did exist. He really has no choice. Without him, he's just incomplete. Yet gives David a voice.
So notice what he's doing here. Now he's reading a poem, but listen to the words. He's saying that David Wood needs Muhammad to exist, and he gives him a place. Okay, let's continue on.
If the traditions were correct and Muhammad was a man, then I would be the first in line to give David my hand. But you and I know very well he never lived on earth. His story is just fairy tales. It really has no worth.
Now watch.
We know David depends on him. He must stay a prophet. Who else offers him so much fun and makes him so much profit?
Jared, this is where they lose it. Jared? Now, they took it a lot more personally. You're going to hear their response. Than David did. He just accused David's motive of being money. He needs Muhammad to exist. Now watch Daughter of Christ fight herself from cussing him out. So he thinks he's funny, but very arrogant.
So, that's what he said about David Wood.
See?
And you can listen to the audience. They're laughing. They think it's funny. Some people are like kind of taken back, gasping. I don't think that's funny at all.
See?
What he just did was he accused David Wood of saying that, look, your position is that Muhammad existed so that you can have fun and you can make money. Now, that is a disgusting accusation against David Wood.
They're trying their best not to cuss him out, and he thinks he's funny. See the arrogance? Even one-way apologetics. Chris Kloss, that's disgusting. See that? He's not as humble as he thinks. Jay, you got to rein yourself in, brother, because the Lord is rebuking you. May he not give me what I deserve.
Absolutely, exactly. Chris Kloss right here. We have the same reaction to that. I'm sure many of you have the same reaction to that. Disgusting accusation to make against David Wood. And we can personally testify that David, that's the farthest thing from David. David is so generous. Anyone who of you have had the blessing to get to know David, you know how generous he is. That's the last thing that he's making money off of Muhammad or something like that. That's the last thing why he does what he does. You know, we don't have to go through, you know, David's whole history of like the death threats he gets and the treatment he gets from Muslims. And to think that he's, you know, doing all that, putting up with, you know, his family in danger, him in danger, just because he's trying to make money off of the fact that Muhammad existed. In Jay Smith's words, he needs Muhammad to exist so he can make money. That is what we're coming against. So without even knowing any of the background on the topic, this should already be a red flag to every single one of you that if someone employs this sort of tactic, what do Muslims say to us all the time?
Ad hominem.
What do Muslims say to us though? You work for Mossad.
You want
You're,
money.
you're Zionists. You work for Israel. Where are your shekels? This is something that Muslims say to us all the time.
It's because they have no argument.
And I'm not saying Jay Smith is a Muslim. I'm saying that this is the same tactic that they use. And why do they? Because they have no argument.
Yeah.
So without even knowing the arguments, you got, like I said, you don't need to know the history. You don't need to know the languages. But when someone uses these tactics, red flags.
David Wood
Listen,
is a genius.
to the sister.
We know that. If he wanted to make money to fight Islam,
Yep.
publicly with his face out and his identity public, is the last way to do it.
Yep.
David Wood did talk about his testimony. There was a time, because of him being against Islam publicly, he lost his job at a university. He was it was going to be a professor of philosophy. He had a whole career and he lost it.
Yep.
He had to move in at one point with a family.
Yep.
Because they couldn't,
That's
because
true.
of money issues,
Yep.
because of the loss of income, because
Yep.
of Islam, because of the persecution that he got. He lost his job because fighting Islam at the time when David Wood was doing it was called Islamophobic and all that stuff.
Absolutely.
That's the first thing. The second thing is to accuse a brother in the faith
So listen to this.
who's evangelizing to Muslims, who's bringing them to Jesus Christ.
Listen.
Go to any video of David Wood and you will see in the comments how many Muslims leave Islam, come to the Lord Jesus because of his evangelism, saying, thank you, David, you helped me. Thank you, you showed me. Thank you, thank you. To accuse a brother with that much fruit for the kingdom of having intentions for money and just to have fun, when he has paid public cost for the gospel. I promised myself not to rebuke Jay Smith like I do Muslims.
See how hard she is? She's trying to fight it. Now, obviously, we don't make men more than they are. David is phenomenal, but he has his issues. Joining apostate prophet in his zeal for Netanyahu, indiscriminate killing of Palestinians, calling pretty much that Palestinian nun a liar, calling out Tucker Carlson for not bringing in an Israeli to give their perspective. I said, why don't you bring in a Palestinian to bring their perspective, practice what you preach? I called him up for that. He's no saint. I'm no saint. But definitely he's not a money whore. He's not Ruslan or JP Slut. By the way, just if you want more proof that JP Slut is an attention whore, I know you're listening. I met 4 ex-JWs, Jehovah's Witnesses. They went to a conference. I met them last year. I saw them this weekend. They told me, JP introduced himself. Hey, you guys, you know who I am? I debated Sam Shamoun. See? If this is not a guy who's a whore, who's looking for money, like Ruslan, I don't know what to tell you. David is not in it for the money. Tony, kid, how are you doing, brother? Let me know how you're doing.
Because he's a Christian. But that was wrong. And I hope he repented for that, because
See?
Each one of us are precious to the Lord, and our hearts are precious to the Lord.
Angry she is?
And he can see who's doing what faithfully and who's doing what sincerely. Okay? I don't know the kind of fruit that Jay Smith has in terms of helping Muslims out of their religion into the arms of the Lord Jesus. I have not seen one comment from any Muslim saying, because I'm convinced that Muhammad never existed, now I've come. I haven't seen it.
Okay.
But on the other side, I have seen plenty of Muslims. Plenty of Muslims saying, you know what, these Christians helped me see that the Muhammad I believe in is false. That he's immoral, that he commit crime, that he did bad things, that he cannot be a prophet of God, whether he exists or not. That approach bears fruit. So I have to examine somebody's motives. Are they really for winning souls, or is it just to be proven right? About something?
Exactly.
But we're going to go through the particulars of his argument.
Yep. They decimate him. They demolish him. I'm going to play just 2 more. And we're going to go into Jay's arguments, tell you why they're bad. Very bad. And I have the receipts. I've been after them for over 18 years. Over 18 years. I've been calling out his mistakes about the Bible, about how to prove the Trinity, the mistakes he makes. I have the emails. He's very sloppy. Now, let me be careful. He's not a liar. He's not a thief. He's not a deceiver. He's not a money whore. He's not that. He's just sloppy and not that good. You understand the difference? You understand the difference, right? He's not a money whore. He's not a conniver. He's not a deceiver. He is sloppy and not that good. Not very bright and not that good when it comes to polemics or apologetics. You understand the difference, right? Distinguish those who are crooks, who are doing it for attention, who are doing it for fame, money, and those who are just not good. What's up, Saint Faustina? You praying? I've been sick. You've been praying? Ask Saint Faustina to intercede for me. Okay? He's just not good. I'm going to tell you who is uneducated and stupid and an attention whore. JP Slut. So, I'm going to tell you who I think are vile, wicked tools of Satan who are doing it for money, for numbers, and they're very stupid, not very educated. One of them is JP Slut. The other is Kelly Powerless, as well as Ruslan. I'm just being very honest and upfront. You get it? Jay is not dishonest. Jay is not doing it for money. Jay is not a clout chaser. He's just not good. He's just not good. You understand the difference? All right. Let me show you what they say. We're going to go to the 2-hour, 41-second mark. Watch here. Let's hear. And we're going to get into some arguments. And I'm going to put up Q&A. Pray for my health. It's good to be with you guys. I miss you guys, really. You're my online family.
And at times interchanged it with the Messiah. Conclusion, therefore, the term Muhammad was well known in that part of the world and at that time. But it was not pronounced Muhammad like you do today.
He got destroyed.
That is how we now pronounce it.
He got so embarrassed, even by Mel. Mel showed an inscription of Muhammad's name in Greek, and it had 2 alphas, but because he's not too bright, those who know Greek will know, if you have 2 alphas, Ma'amed. The 2 alphas means it's not Mahmed, it's Ma'amed. Like when you look at the Greek word for Abraham, there are 2 alphas, 2 A's. Abraham. This is how bad his arguments are. Even Mel told me when I corrected him, he said, yeah, a Greek Christian contacted me telling me, no, the Greek alpha means it's pronounced Ma'amed, not Mahmed. That's how bad it is, his research. Now, why did they go after him in this video? Are you aware, over 1 million views, he's now affected over 1 million Christians who won't do the research to see where he's in error, where he's wrong, will blindly follow his arguments and parrot them. And when they run into a scholar or a sharp apologist who's a Muslim, they'll get eaten alive. Sloppy. And this is what gets me upset with him. Sloppy. You have a responsibility, buddy. The cat, I don't know if the cat wants to go up.
And there lies the confusion that Raymond's having. And same with you, Abdul. I can see you're confused now as well.
Yeah, everybody's confused
because that word Muhammad doesn't exist in either language. It doesn't exist.
Boy.
So, folks, knowing that, let's now look and see exactly.
So, if his foundations are wrong, now he's going to move on to the other points.
Watch here.
I just can't trust what else he has to say. I'm sorry, guys. I just can't trust what else he has to say. The
Hear
things
what he
that I
said?
know about.
I can't trust what he has to say. They destroyed his Arabic and they destroyed his Greek. It's bad, folks. It's very bad. The cat is killing me. I don't know what the heck this cat wants. I'm sick and the cat's making me get up. Get over here, man. Let him make a few comments on Jay's cult followers and how they're no better than Mohammedans and how they attack fellow Christians.
That I know for a fact he's wrong on. The things that I don't know about, I just don't trust him on. Now, I'm not saying that it's an impossibility that he's correct on, but for the history, like I said, we'll rely on Raymond Ibrahim. We'll say him for the history.
We don't need lessons in Arabic. Arabic is a third world language. Deal with the well-researched argument. His argument
is based on Arabic.
Yeah.
So Ronald, here's a perfect example. Here's a perfect example. So Ronald has been here, and you've been here for quite a while. So I mean, respect you for at least being here. I don't know if you're listening at all, but like at least you're here. You're hearing us out. Now you might have to go back and listen because maybe you're just angry typing and you're not listening. But if you don't need lessons in Arabic, and Arabic's a third world language, you're trying to make like some. So
listen,
basically this is like someone who has their loyalty to Jay Smith, not to the truth. Why do I say that? Because
why loyalty to Jay Smith, not to the truth? Because Jay Smith what?
Jay Smith's argument is based on the Arabic and the Hebrew. Misunderstandings of Arabic for sure, misunderstandings of Hebrew for sure, but you don't know the language. You're admitting here you don't know the language. So you don't know the language. You're saying you don't need the language. How are you able to determine anything about the truthfulness of this?
Why don't you tell Dr. J. Smith, forget Arabic?
Yep.
I would love for him to stop talking about Arabic because he gets it wrong every time.
See
if
that?
you don't think it matters, tell Dr. J. Smith not to use it in his argument.
He gets it wrong every time. Now, if you don't know who Daughter of Christ is, she used to be a Muslimah, was a Muslim, converted, is a devout Christian, very close to Hatun Tash. You know what I said in the comment section? This is why pray for me. God, keep me humble and teachable. I said, so you finally have come around agreeing with me and seeing I was right. You guys who ostracized me. You know what's ironic? This is what's funny. All these guys that cut off ties with me, they're now admitting indirectly I was right in my approach. Do you understand? May God not allow me to be puffed up. May I stay humble. But now they're all coming around agreeing with me. And yet I got vilified. I got ostracized. I got attacked for not being Christ-like. See? See how that works? Oh, but now you come around and admit I was right. Okay.
Because he loses the Arabs in the room.
See?
And any unfortunate Arab that he might be speaking to, or anyone that takes his material to an Arab and say, Muhammad is this and that. If you don't think it's important, you think it's third world and obvious sort of, I don't know if the word racism is correct. This is a language of a lot of people, and a lot of them don't know Jesus.
Yeah, if you're gonna I thank God that we can speak this third world language, so we can, by God's grace, we try to reach out to people in this third world language to try to,
third world people are still made in the image of God.
Yeah, and third world people still need Jesus,
and they need, and Jesus still died for the third world, if you call it that.
And by the way, Arabic and Hebrew are sister languages. So if you're saying Arabic is third world language, what are you saying about Hebrew? It's a sister language. So
maybe he thinks it's third world too.
I don't know. Maybe So anyway, as the comment is pointing out, yeah, he's been disrespecting us a lot. I see there's a lot of like Jay Smith people who are more loyal to him than to the truth, and they're just insulting. I'm not really like those people. I know that those ones are hard to reach. I'm more trying to reach like the general audience. There is a person who listens to Jay Smith who like is not like, whatever he says, I'm just going to accept no matter what. There's someone who I know that there's people who are listening to him who they just want to know the evidence, they want to know the truth.
Mm-hmm.
And sure, he's got some really interesting theories. And like I said, he might even have a case that Muhammad doesn't exist. We haven't heard it yet.
We haven't heard it yet. Anyway, I'm going to skip to the 2 hour, 51 minute mark. Listen. This is what they're following. They're trying to use this verse. Okay, watch. Watch here. Okay.
I want to share with you guys, but one of the ones that I really want to start with here is Proverbs 27, verse 5. Proverbs 27, verse 5. And let God be true and every man a liar.
Yep.
Okay? Because this is what God's word says. Let God be true and every man a liar. This is what God's word said. Open rebuke is better than love carefully concealed.
Yep.
Open rebuke is better than love carefully concealed. So a secret love, like, and in other words, you have so much loyalty to this person more than you do to the truth.
Yep.
That's not good for them. It's not good for you. The word of God, I don't care what anyone says. The word of God says open rebuke is better than love carefully concealed.
Oh, so, hold on. You guys ostracized me. You know, Jai doesn't talk to me to this day because I yelled at him for dropping the ball on editing a clip, calling out Tovia Singer, and I chewed him out. He didn't like it, and he cut off ties. It's been over 3 years. Do you know that? So, hold on. You mean I was right? Pray for me. I stay humble, teachable. I'm not arrogant. And God does not hand me over to punishment and sin. Be patient with me. Forgive me. Even this young lady knows our struggle, her struggle, my struggle. May God keep her pure and help her. And I'm Jesus to her and I don't break her heart. So I was right, Joey Chaldean? Plutly dus, huh? See? But I was the jerk. I was the ass. I'm the one who didn't play ball. Okay.
I know that there is a cross between a lot of, like, you know, people who watch Jay Smith and some people who watch us as well. I know, like, especially like the Indonesians, there's a big Indonesian community, and we love our brothers and sisters in Indonesia, and we know that they take Jay's stuff very seriously. And partially we're doing this video for you guys, this stream for you guys, because we know that you guys don't necessarily have the tools to be able to research everything because you guys are so busy. You guys have so much they're doing. They're building churches. Their ex-Muslims are happening all the time in Indonesia, the Indonesian church and everything. It's growing. So they don't necessarily have the time to do all this research, all this stuff. So we're just kind of, to them and for all of our other brothers and sisters, out of our love for all of you, that's why we're doing this, because we don't want you to be misled. So to our brothers and sisters in Christ, we don't want you to be misled.
He showed no sources.
And this information that we just saw from Jay Smith, this is misleading information. So we don't want you to be misled by this information, and then you present it to somebody else, and then they find out that they've been misled,
and then call you a liar,
and then you found you're misled, and that could be a big crisis. Like, because you trust this guy so much, and then you find out that it's not true. It might be to a crisis. I mean, God forbid.
Oh, but when I call out inspiring philosophy or David Wood or others, you're a meanie, Sam. We don't see Jesus in you. You're a jerk, hothead. Yeah, I'm the only one with issues because David and you guys don't have issues, and no one wants to work with you. Oh. Okay,
but I want to say also for the non-Christians, any non-Christians who are watching this, I hope that, I mean, I don't know if they're Muslims or who they are, but I hope you can see the difference in how Muslims treat each other and how these guys will kill each other and like they'll blow up each other's mosque and kill each other and do all this stuff, crazy stuff, and how Christians can disagree with each other and still love each other. Hope that you can see the difference. And for the Muslims. And for any of the non-Christians who are watching, and I'm going to hand it to Daughter of Christ, we're going to go through some Bible verses.
Yep.
We're doing this for you as well.
Watch
as a service to say that we know this information is false, and we don't want you guys to just throw everything all Christians say under the bus, or say get rid of everything Christians say, because some people who might have loud voices are making, like, you know, don't throw everything out. Don't throw the baby out with the bathwater, right? So that's my message for the Christians and for the non-Christians. Like, we're doing this out of love for you all in different ways.
Watch.
But we don't want anyone to just throw out and we don't even want you guys to throw out everything Jay said. We're just saying this particular area in this argument, don't use this information. I don't have the time to go through all of his other stuff, but from what I've seen, there's a lot of misinformation in there too. But this is stuff that I do know about, and yeah. So that's what I want to say for the brothers and sisters in Christ, and then for those.
I want you to hear this. One more minute, one final clip, and then we're going to go into the meat. I promise you. You're going to learn today, but pray for me. You see, I'm feeling a little better. Pray I don't get worse. I can't afford pneumonia. I got no one. I can't end up in the hospital. I don't trust doctors. Pray the Lord pities me and forgives me. Wash in the blood of Jesus Christ for the sake of my daughters. Okay, watch. Listen.
Was outside the Lord. That's my message to you all.
Watch here.
To the Christians, everyone who tells you things, especially if they seem way out there, if they seem the first time you've ever heard it, like, oh, I've been a Christian decades and I've never heard that he's called Muhammad.
Yeah.
Ask for the source. If it's a historical,
be a Berean.
If it's a historical source, ask for the source. If it's a language that you don't know, ask the speakers of that language. Okay? And also for the Christians listening, do you want to be called a liar?
Exactly.
Because you take false information to a Muslim or even a Hebrew person who's, a Jew who hasn't followed the Lord Jesus.
Exactly.
And they tell you it's wrong. They will call you the liar. We are here trying to prevent Christians from being called liars because they just trust information without checking. That's number one. Number two, the Muslim Arabs that are listening to me, now you know that our loyalty is to truth, not to brothers.
See? Did you hear that? That's why I love them. I love you guys. Pray for me. See? But one thing I would like is come back around and acknowledge I was right. Not out of my ego, because you guys cut off all ties with me. That's why Jai doesn't appear with me. You see? And it's not I want you to appear with me or I appear with you. You don't need me, I don't need you. We need Jesus. But so ironically, they've come full circle. They now confirm what I've been saying over the years because my passion has been for Christians. Let me give you a story. Why do I get so upset? Why do I get so angry? And I stumble when I see Christians making egregious errors. Do you know why? I had promised the Lord, okay, when I got destroyed by a Muslim in debate. And I got schooled by a Jehovah's Witness in debate. By the way, I've told you the story. I even showed you the video of his gravesite. His name was, I don't know if it was Camille or Kamal. I think it was Camille. Chaldean Jehovah's Witness. His sisters became Jehovah's Witnesses. Very active Jehovah's Witnesses. In the 90s, he and a Syrian friend of his, Wilson, would go to my house and other houses and convince us Jehovah's Witnesses are right. Chaldean. I believe his name was Camille. He died around 29 years old. He was electrocuted. He was an electrician. I have the video on my YouTube where I'm in the cemetery and I show you his tombstone. He had just been married for a year. Notice, Chaldean, huh? Trying to convince me there is no Trinity and that the Catholic Church whore of Babylon. Okay. When I cry out to the Lord and I ask God, if you give me answers to these questions, I will commit myself to make sure no Christian gets humiliated the way I did. Why do you think over 98% of my material is focused on Christians, strengthening them, not on unbelievers? Have you noticed it? It's not I don't want unbelievers to be saved. Of course I do. But God has raised up people for them. My passion was to be used to strengthen Christians because when my faith got rocked, I didn't have anyone to turn to. I couldn't go to a priest. I can go to a pastor. Someone to answer the questions for me. Why do you think I get very angry and livid, and I block people and I cuss people out that don't listen and repeat what they think they heard me say, but I didn't? You understand? That's why. That's why I go after these guys.
Even respected brothers that have been in the field decades and years, who we still love and respect. I want you to see that our loyalty is truth.
Yep.
And you know that what we would have said is true in Arabic. And if you knew Hebrew, you would have known that it's true in Hebrew. Or Aramaic, if you know these languages. You now know. So you have no excuse before the Lord.
Oh, I do have to say, we've consulted with Aramaic speakers,
Yeah, we know
Aramaic
Aramaic speakers.
We've consulted with them, and they're not here, but they are 100% on board with us. So we can bring on native Aramaic.
Wrong. Even Aramaic speakers say, Jay, you're wrong, buddy. You may need to retire, brother. Your legacy is being destroyed. It is. He's not good. Now here, last one.
Well,
I mean, it's impossible.
Do another stream or delete this one.
Yeah, I mean, I have to say, some of these things you just it's just the language. You just can't. It's like it's already there. So, but if you can somehow give us a source for that, we'd love to see it.
Now what?
But anyway, that's
yeah. So if you don't believe us, ask Dr. J. Smith. Ask Dr. J. Smith for the source where it is that Jews in Baghdad did that.
He has none.
That's all. Just say I want the source to show my friend or show myself. There will be no source that comes. It will be a bunch of just waffle on a slide.
Yep.
The source means a historical source from someone at the time or around the time.
Now watch.
Or at any time, because I'm willing to bet they just don't use it in that way. It's just not true.
This is what Jai's going to say.
All right.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's like the amount of effort that again, he's traveling the world teaching this stuff, and it's like it's so sad to see. Again, he just turned 72 years old. It's just so sad to see that he's spending very precious years of his life teaching wrong information.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so I totally this comment really resonates with. I can totally understand where you're coming from. It's like you need to bring sources. You need to bring evidences. You can't just it's sad. It's really sad.
Listen.
J. Smith is not someone that I've followed over the years. I can't tell you like, oh, I watched this debate of his, this debate of his. I haven't really followed him over the years. But the times that he would come up and I'd listen to him, I'll be honest. He has a lot of these problems that we're talking about right now. These are a regular occurrence.
Yeah, it's
regular occurrence. Did you hear it? He turns people off from his material. I'll be honest. He makes a lot of mistakes, problems. That's why none of us are fans of his material. Do you know that? You think I'm lying? Show me where David Wood or Apostate Prophet or Jay, Apologetics, Daughter of Christ, or who else? Sama Dakdok, even him. Show me any of these guys using his material or referencing him. Yep. Okay. Okay, now watch. Let him finish. So I can give you some Bible
with a lot of his teachings.
Yeah, it's across the board.
So we're not saying everything. We're not saying throw out everything, but a lot of this stuff, guys, it's this kind of quote unquote scholarship, and it's just not good.
Not good.
Right, so
there you go. All right. Now, when this came out, like, wow. David Wood now has called them out. Thaddeus has called them out. Too Many Marys called them out. Jai Apologetics, Daughter of Christ, called them out. Raymond Ibrahim called them out. What's left? I've been calling him out for over 18 years. I have the emails. He's not going to deny it. He hasn't been very happy with me for calling him out. And Al-Fadi's my witness. All the mistakes he makes in the shows with Al-Fadi, I'm texting Al-Fadi. I go, dude, he just embarrassed you. Dude, he just made a mistake. Dude, this is wrong. Now I'm going to bring the receipts. Are we ready? Ready for receipts? So they're right. They're right. Enough is enough, brother. Go into retirement, brother. Or stop using these arguments. They're terrible. Now let me bring you the receipts. Ready? Let's do it. On a different aspect, not even on whether Muhammad existed. on his egregious errors on the Birmingham manuscripts, and on what the Quran says about Gabriel, and what the New Testament says about Jesus. Just egregious errors. Let me go to the hour lecture. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. It needs to be done. And I'll give you a biblical basis, but let me find if I can find that hour lecture. Let me see it. And see what I mean. Jay, I probably have to go to the 18-minute clip. Here it goes. All right.
How are we able to offer the Percy dining set for just $2.95? At Living Spaces, we designed furniture with affordable, durable...
AQs, frequently asked questions.
Let's see the timestamp. There's a short clip of this, 18 minutes. But I went to the hour one and listened to it, to be fair, to see what he says in context. Let's see. Let's see here. Let me see. Okay. I hope this is it. It's probably the other one. We'll see.
That's the one Muslims will throw at you.
Yeah.
They will say, you Christians, see, Jesus more often than any other, 25 times in the New Testament, referred to himself as Son of Man. He's nothing more than a man. See, Mr. Smith, he's nothing more than a man. And I love that when they bring that up, because I take them right back to Matthew 26, to the trial by Caiaphas there in front of the Sanhedrin. And I say, look and see, when Jesus used this title for himself in front of Caiaphas, look at Caiaphas's reaction. He tore his robe, turned towards the Sanhedrin, and said, what further truth do we need? This man has blasphemed. Because he knew.
What's problematic with Jay, he comes super confident in the way he speaks, because he's been trained how to speak. That confidence can cause people to think that he knows what he's talking about. And I say this in love. I hope he repents of it and moves on. But now watch. Son of Man, right?
Knew that in Daniel 7:14, the definition of the Son of Man is right there. The Son of Man is from everlasting to everlasting, will have dominion over all tribes, nation, peoples, and tongues. Folks, who is from everlasting to everlasting but God himself? Am I?
Okay. We'll hear it again. This is not a minor error, dude.
The truth do we need? This man has blasphemed. Because he knew that in Daniel 7:14, the definition of the Son of Man is right there. The Son of Man is from everlasting to everlasting, will have dominion over all tribes, nation, peoples, and tongues. Folks, who is from everlasting to everlasting but God himself? Am I correct?
Listen to this.
Exactly. So in a sense, what Jesus was saying in those 3 verses from 62 to 60, actually it's up to 66. So those 4 verses, he was saying to Caiaphas, I am God. I am God. I am God. 3 times.
Okay. He said Daniel 7:14 says Son of Man is from everlasting to everlasting, right? You caught it? Okay, one more time in case you missed it. So we don't get accused of misrepresenting him. So when he says, I am the Christ, the Son of God, you shall see the Son of Man, seated at the right hand of power, coming to clouds of heaven. By saying he's the Christ, he claimed to be God. By saying he's the Son of God, he claimed to be God. By saying that he's the Son of Man, he claimed to be God. But watch here.
The truth do we need? This man has blasphemed. Because he knew that in Daniel 7:14, the definition of the Son of Man is right there. The Son of Man is from everlasting to everlasting, will have dominion over all tribes, nation, peoples, and tongues. Folks, who is from everlasting to everlasting but God himself? Am I correct?
All right. Everlasting, everlasting. That's what he said, Daniel 7 said, all right? Okay. All right, let's go. Watch other errors he's going to make. He even has to throw in the Catholic Church for good measure. Okay, here's what he's saying. Okay, you're listening? Okay. Learn, guys. Learn. Don't make these mistakes, please. NIV, again, the high priest asked him, are you the Messiah, the Son of the Blessed One? I am, said Jesus. So I am, he's saying that means he's God, especially when he claims the Messiah. Son of God, that means he's God. You'll see the Son of Man sitting at the right hand of the Mighty One and coming on the clouds of heaven. He's set to 66. I think he had Matthew 26, 63, 66 in mind. But anyway, now watch here. Watch here. Everlasting, everlasting, right? In my vision at night, I looked, and there before me was one like the Son of Man, coming with the clouds of heaven. He approached the Ancient of Days, was led into his presence. He was given authority, glory, sovereign power. All nations, peoples, every language worshipped him. His dominion is everlasting dominion that will not pass away, and his kingdom is one that will never be destroyed. Show me the phrase. Show me the phrase. He said, Daniel said, Son of Man is from everlasting to everlasting in the beginning. Read the Gospels. Where? Where? Show it to me. I'm waiting. All right. And that was the main point of his argument, right? Okay. Let's go here. 1919, 39:18. Okay. Let's go back here.
When you shop in the Albertsons app, you can count on prices that are the same online as they are in store.
EQs frequently.
All right. Let's see if it's 39. Watch here. Yep, watch here.
Last 10 years, this revelation came to him in Medina. 2 cities, Mecca, Medina. Yeah.
Are you on drugs, Harry? Do you want me to get you out of here?
The Quran does talk about Gabriel quite a few times. Right there in chapter 19, that's Gabriel that comes to Mary. Jibril is his name in Arabic.
See that?
So the source is the Quran itself.
See that? We spend all our time and energy proving Gabriel is not the spirit in the Quran. See what he just did? Watch it again.
Last 10 years, this revelation came to him in Medina. 2 cities, Mecca, Medina. Yeah. The Quran does talk about Gabriel quite a few times. Right there in chapter 19, that's Gabriel that comes to Mary.
See what he just did? Our entire polemic is that the spirit that came to Mary is not Gabriel. He just said that's Gabriel. See how sloppy he is?
Jibril is his name in Arabic. So the source is the Quran itself. But the stories about Gabriel would be the hadith, yes. Doesn't say too much. It just says that he talks to Mary and says to her that she's going to have a righteous son. That's interesting. That's in chapter 19, verse 19.
You heard that, right?
And in verse 20, he says to Mary, you will be a virgin when this happens. Truly, you are a virgin. So that's beautiful because that's a bridge you can use to look at why the birth of Jesus is unique. So Gabriel is in the Quran. Jibril would the name would be. But also, Jibril is also known as the Spirit of God. Ruwala.
Did you see that? See what he just did? See what he did? Guy's embarrassment, man. He really is. He's sloppy, careless, and embarrassment. I'd have to embarrass him in a debate if he said that. So he says Gabriel's called Ruwala. Where is he called that? Okay, watch here.
Can use to look at why the birth of Jesus is unique. So Gabriel is in the Quran. Jibril would the name would be. But also, Jibril is also known as the Spirit of God. Ruwala.
Where?
Now put that under your hat. So is he a spirit or is he an angel? Malaka. Both end. There's a lot of confusion in the Quran. Don't ask me to explain it. Ask Muslims. Let them have to deal with it. I'm so glad I don't have to defend the Quran. Now let's get back.
Okay. All right. He said 19, right? All right. And I've been on him for years for these mistakes, man. On him for years for these mistakes. Okay? You don't even need to read Arabic. Okay. you can read a transliteration. Gabriel's name only appears 3 times. Only 3 times. And he's never said to be the Spirit, and he's never said to be the Spirit of God. That's later Islamic tradition. Okay, ready? Okay, 297-98. Say, whosoever is an enemy to Gabriel, he it was that brought it down upon thy heart by the leave of God. So that's 1 in here. Jibreel, 298. Whosoever is an enemy to God and his angels and his messengers, and Gabriel and Michael, surely God is enemy to the unbelievers. So now you have Michael. Jibreel, right? Mikael. Here is the passage he said, says Gabriel, 19:17. She took a veil apart from them, then we sent unto her our spirit, Ruch Ana, not our angel, and it doesn't even say Gabriel. See that? See that? He said there, Gabriel's called the Spirit. No, he's not. It didn't say Gabriel came to her. It says Allah's Spirit came to her. Allah's Spirit appeared as a man. Allah's Spirit caused her to get pregnant with Jesus. Okay? How shall I have a son whom no mortal has touched, neither have I been unchaste? Right? I'm but a messenger, come from my Lord to give thee a boy most pure. The other time, Gabriel's mentioned in 66:4. Gabriel, why are you going backwards, destroying our polemic, our argument, when this is one of the proofs we use to show the Quran has its own Trinity? Because we challenge Muslims, show us where it says Gabriel is the Spirit, the Holy Spirit. They can't. And here you are screwing us up, saying it does. Why is he doing this? Can you tell me? All right. Let's go. His error on the Birmingham manuscripts. Okay? Now, I can do this for hours, no joke. You guys with me so far, right? Okay.
They don't train in gyms or stand on podiums, but make no mistake about it, cats are athletes, built for speed, balance, and boldness.
AQs, frequently asked questions, the ones that you're going to get when you talk to Muslims, and I hope you all do, from the mid-7th century, complete and unchanged. That's all I'm asking. Is that too much to ask?
Look what he says.
Absolutely not.
Listen. Watch here. Birmingham folios.
You mentioned the Birmingham folios. Do you know the dates for them?
Listen.
568 to 645. When was Muhammad born? 570, died in 632.
Watch here.
Okay, what's the problem with that manuscript right there? He's talking about the Birmingham folios. There's just 2 folios from Surah 18, 19, and 20, which was discovered in London. I'm sorry, in Birmingham, but it was discovered by carbon dating.
He repeats the same error, mistake in all his talks. He did it with Frank Turk, who's going to get humiliated. He did it with Al-Fadi. Look what he says about the folio.
In the Oxford lab in 2015. 568 to 645. Do you see the problem with that? You notice no Muslim scholar has supported those dates. Why do you think?
Watch the mistake.
Well, Muhammad was there in 570. No, remember, what did I say? When was the Quran written down in its final form? 652. So if the latest date of these carbon datings, the very latest date is 645, that's 7 years before 652. You can't have a manuscript or even folios that predate Uthman.
Why not? Does anyone say why not? What are you talking about? Are you on drugs? What do I mean? The tradition that he's citing says Uthman wasn't the first to compile the Quran between two covers. It was done before him, and he had Zayd copy the, what they call Mus'haf, right? The Codex. So the tradition says there were other Qurans in circulation. What does he mean you can't have the Quran before 652 and 645? Understand the embarrassment here? Okay, let me explain the embarrassment. If you ask Jay, how do you know that Uthman codified the Quran? The Hadiths. 652 AD. The same Hadiths that say there were other Qurans already written down by companions of Muhammad that Uthman was aware of and burned. So you see, he wants his cake and eat it too, right? Why can't you have a folio of verses of the Quran from 645 before the Uthmanic recension, when he only knows about the Uthmanic recension from the Hadiths, which he rejects, but now he uses them to show Uthman compiled a Quran, 652. Now all of a sudden they're reliable, but those are the same Hadiths that say there are other Qurans in circulation. So why can't you have it? Help me understand. Help me understand. How does that work? Let me know if you got the point. I don't know if you got it. Do you understand the point I just made or no? If you ask him, how do you know Uthman compiled the Quran 652? The Hadith. You mean the same Hadith you reject? Yes. But now they're reliable. Okay. But isn't it true those same Hadiths speak of other Qurans written down by other Muslims, companions of Muhammad? So this folio confirms the tradition and exposes how sloppy and careless you are.
And the only ones who got all up in arms, got so excited about it, was the BBC. Western scholars who didn't know the dates for Muhammad. That's why Muslim scholars have become very silent. They haven't said anything about it. It gets even worse than that. What's your name?
A watcher.
Greg, it gets even worse than that, Greg.
Oh, how worse?
If you want to look and see, there's not just the Oxford lab. There's also the laboratory in Kiel, the Oxford lab. There's also the laboratory in Lille, and there's also the lab in Zurich. 4 different labs, all in Europe. They have now looked at the Sana manuscript, which is even older than the Birmingham folios. In fact, the Birmingham folios are supposedly from the Sana manuscript, and they've taken a look and they've done carbon dating on all 4 laboratories. Guess what the date they have for those carbon datings? Every one of them is prior to 550. Every one, and the latest date for all of them is 550. They go all the way back to 443. 443 to 550. Muhammad was even born to 570. All 4 of those labs, the carbon datings for those manuscripts are before Muhammad's life, before the Quran was put. We've even begun. The Quran was begun in 610. Before the Quran was finished, the Quran was finished in 652. Before Islam even became. Do you see the problems?
Told him it's finished 652. And who told him Uthman did it in 652? Oh, the Hadiths. Now watch how bad it's going to get.
Be careful with carbon datings. We would never use carbon datings for our manuscripts because they're so inexact. But more than that,
never. Guys, I'll give you $10 million to show me a single textual critic of the New Testament who doesn't employ carbon dating to date the manuscripts?
The fact that these three surahs that you're talking about, 18, 19, and 20, look at the stories that are in those three surahs. You have the story of Moses at the burning bush. You have the story of the 7 sleepers in Ephesus. And you have the story of Dhul Qarnayn, who's Alexander the Great. Now, none of these are unique to the Quran, are they? They're all borrowed. But those stories would have all predated the Quran, wouldn't they? So even if you went with the carbon datings, that means these are all older than the Quran because the stories are older. If you're borrowing, that means they were there beforehand. Ooh, I love it.
Does that make sense?
It just makes my job so easy. We use carbon datings for our manual.
Did he make sense? I'm going to show you how he embarrassed himself. He just said, the folios have chapter 18, chapter 19, chapter 20. And those portions are apocryphal stories, like Dhul Qarnayn, right? Alexander the Great, or Moses, or story of Mary and Jesus. And all you're proving is that these stories existed before Muhammad, and then Muhammad found them and included in the Quran. Now watch how embarrassing this claim is. Watch.
Because they're so inexact. But more than that, the fact that these three surahs that you're talking about, 18, 19, and 20, look at the stories that are in those three surahs. You have the story of Moses at the burning bush. You have the story of the 7 sleepers in Ephesus. And you...
Oh, 7 sleepers too, right? Alexander, 7 sleepers. Okay.
You have the story of Dhul Qarnayn, who's Alexander the Great. Now, none of these are unique to the Quran, are they? They're all borrowed.
What does that got to do?
But those stories would have all predated the Quran, wouldn't they?
How?
So even if you went with the carbon dating...
How does this logic follow? To tell me that there were stories circulating orally or in documents before the Quran, and that somehow this means the Quran doesn't have its own version of the stories, and therefore these folios cannot be Quranic. What color is the sky in his world? Because I'm going to show you the embarrassment.
That means these are all older than the Quran because the stories are older. If you're borrowing, that means they were there beforehand. Ooh, I love it.
How does that make sense?
Just makes my job so easy. So be careful of any type of scientific evidence that goes against what we're now finding out with paleographical evidence.
Okay, hold on. Let me show you the embarrassment. I'm going to show you. He says, because chapter 18 contains the stories of the 7 sleepers of the cave, Christian fable, or Dhul Qarnayn, Alexander the Great. These stories are not Quranic. They're stories that were there before the Quran and borrowed by Muhammad. So hold on. You're telling me that these stories are not Quranic material because the Quran is quoting stories already known? How the hell does that make sense? The fact that the Quran quotes these stories is one thing. It's another thing to say, well, these stories existed before the Quran, and therefore this is not a Quranic manuscript. But let me show you how embarrassing it gets. Let me show you what's in the Birmingham folio. Okay. Let's see what's in it. All right. Watch here. Look what's in it. Okay. The manuscript is written in ink on parchment using an Arabic Hijazi script and is still clearly legible. The leaves preserve parts of surahs 19 to 20. Taha. Okay. Chapter 19 and 20, right? Here. 1 2-page leaf contains verses 17-31 of Surah 18, Al-Kahf, while the other leaf, the final 8 verses 91-98, Surah 19, and the first 40 verses of Surah 20, Taha. Okay, now watch. Watch how embarrassing this is. Do you see what was found? Okay. Let's look at chapter 18, 17 and 31 that was found in the folios. Let's go there. 17 and 31, right? Okay. Okay, watch. This is found in the folios. Okay? Tell me it's not Quranic. Hold on. Okay. Hold on. Just keep giving me our time. Let's do this here. Thou wouldst seen the sun when it rose, declining to the right from their cave, when it set, turning away from them to the left, while they lay in the open space. You're telling me this was found in the folio in Arabic, and it's not Quranic, simply because the Quran is parodying a fable? Thou would have deemed them awake while they're asleep. We turned them on their right and on their left sides, their dog stretching forth his 2 forelegs on the threshold. Really? This is not Quranic? How about here? Nor say of anything, I shall be sure to do so and so tomorrow, without adding, Inshallah. So please God. What is he talking about? How does this discount the folios being Quranic material? Is he telling me this exact same version of the 7 sleepers of the cave is found elsewhere before the Quran? You see the problem? You guys see the problem? Before I move on? But what about chapter 19, right? 91, 98. What did it say? 91, 98, chapter 19, right? Okay. Tell me, he said this is about Mary. Okay. That they should invoke a son for the most gracious. This is found in the folio. This is found Birmingham folio. You're telling me this is not Quranic? For it is not consonant with the majesty of most gracious that he should beget a son. Not one of the beings in the heavens and the earth, but must come most gracious as a servant. He does take on account of them all and hath numbered them all exactly. And every one of them will come to him singly on the day of judgment. On those who believe and work deeds of righteousness will most gracious bestow love. So have we made the Quran easy in thine own tongue. So this is not Quranic? Then what is it? What is it? This is not Quran? See how embarrassing this is? Now let me go to a few more receipts. I may call it a night after this so I can recover. My head is hurting. Okay? Part 2 will do more, but pray for my health. Let me see. Let me see here. Do I have anything here? That's not Quranic? Exactly. It doesn't. Because what he told you is, you can't date the ink. You can only date when the skin was prepared. And he admits that. You understand what that means? Carbon dating can only tell you the age of the skin made out of animal skin, the codex. It doesn't tell you when the ink was written in. So it could have been prepared 610 AD. Could have been prepared 558 AD. And then later, someone came and wrote Quran in it. He knows this. What is he talking about? All right, final one, and I got to get better. Pray for me. Right here. It's going to get bad. Lord willing, part 2 will do more. Here's a shorter version.
A lot of times people try to base their journeys off of what other people are doing, but that's not my story. This is walking in my own footsteps.
Said he is the Ben GEI.
All right, I'll come back to that later.
If you are sleeping in a position like this, you are wrecking your body and your breathing. Obstructive sleep apnea happens.
Throw at you. So how could God have a son? Now, the way to answer that is very simple. Third, by the way, that's the one the Muslims love the most. That's the one Muslims will throw at you. They will say, you Christians, see, Jesus more often than any other, 25 times in the New Testament, referred to himself as Son of Man. He's nothing more than a man. See, Mr. Smith, he's nothing more than a man. Best place is, I'm doing two things at once. I'm killing two birds with one stone. The other place where Jesus claimed to be God was in John chapter 8, verse 58. You see now why it's so important that you know how to answer these questions real quickly.
Now watch.
But don't just stop there by answering the questions.
Watch.
Show them why this is important. That's a brilliant question you asked about the Trinity. Because in your God is absolutely hopeless. Your God is a monad, nothing more than that. Your God is not only dependent on his names are dependent on us, on our creation.
Yep.
So what was he before Adam and Eve were created? Where was he? In fact, that's a good question.
We'll show you how to not only answer their questions, but also turn the conversation.
This poor guy, daily reflection. He takes clips from Jay and myself and others, but poor guy. Watch this egregious error, and I'm going to stop right here. We'll finish it tomorrow, God willing.
Around to present the biblical truth about who Jesus really is. Get ready, because what you're about to see will change the way you talk about your faith.
Listen,
have you ever wondered why Muslims say God can't have a son?
Change? Of course it's going to change the way we talk faith. It's going to show us not to use these arguments.
It's a question they've been asking for centuries. But what if the answer wasn't complicated?
Watch this.
What if the key to this question was surprisingly simple? In the next 15 minutes, Dr. J. Smith, drawing from over 40 years of experience, is going to reveal how to answer this most common.
So this is 40 years of experience. We're in trouble, brethren.
Of Muslim objections.
Another question that comes up all the time is, how could God have a son? Have you heard this one?
Look at this.
How could God have a son?
Watch here.
And of course, when you ask them, what do you mean God have a son? Well, how could God, the Father, Mary, the mother, Jesus, the Son? That's how they define it. They have to do that because that's in the Quran, in chapter 5, verse 116. In the Quran, it's very simple. That God the Father, in fact, what it is, you have a question. You have Allah speaking to Isa, who is Jesus, in the Quran. Not my Jesus, but certainly one in the Quran. And he's saying to Isa, is it true that you and your mother are to be worshipped as God? Which implies that Mary is part of the Trinity. Now, Gary, do you teach that here at this church? Please say no. Did he say no? Have you heard anybody teach that at this church?
Listen.
Do you know of anybody in California that teaches that Mary is the mother of God?
Do you hear what he said? Did you hear what he said?
Have you heard anybody teach that at this church? Do you know of anybody in California that teaches that Mary is the mother of God? Please say no.
Please
say
you
no. Have?
You know?
Okay, a heretical church. But
a heretical church. Guess what church he's going to be calling heretical? Heretical church. Please say no.
Certainly not an evangelical church and not a good God-fearing and Bible-believing church. We do not preach Mary as a part of the Trinity. Now, there are...
What does Mary being the mother of God have to do with her being part of the Trinity? Listen, he said heretical church. Guess who he took a shot at? What heretical church?
Okay, a heretical church, but certainly not an evangelical church and not a good God-fearing and Bible-believing church. We do not preach...
If you're God-fearing, Bible-believing, you'll not say she's the mother of God.
Mary as a part of the Trinity. Now, there are groups, and you are correct. In fact, historically, there are the Collyridians. There's a group there right there in the 7th century and the 8th century who possibly could have been the source for this problem. Because certainly in the Quran, whoever put the Quran together, and we're going to get to that, and Pastor Gary wants me to unpack that for you a little bit tonight, more after little later on. But whoever put the Quran together obviously must have borrowed this from another source, and I think it's from this Collyridian group, because they did believe that Mary was the mother. They could have even gotten it from the Catholics, who seem to have Mary everywhere, all over their churches.
Did you hear the shot? Did you hear the shot? They may have gotten it from the Catholics. Hear it? One more time.
Must have borrowed this from another source, and I think it's from this Collyridian group, because they did believe that Mary was the mother. They could have even gotten it from the Catholics, who seem to have Mary everywhere, all over their churches. Could be that that's where they got it from, but I assume that they had never read the Bible.
Jarrett, they have never read the Bible, because if they read the Bible, they would see the Catholic Church is wrong. This is Jay, huh? You guys have made him something he's not.
Ever put the Quran together, and they certainly hadn't talked to any good Christians.
See,
but I
hadn't speaking to any good Christians. You Catholics are bad. Hear it? Hear it again. And I'll be back for part 2 if you're praying for me. I'm gonna have to end the guys. Sorry, I'm trying, but my head is hot. Pray it doesn't get worse.
Another source, and I think it's from this Collyridian group, because they did believe that Mary was the mother. They could have even gotten it from the Catholics, who seem to have Mary everywhere, all over their churches. Could be that that's where they got it from, but I assume that they had never read the Bible, whoever put the Quran together, and they certainly hadn't talked to any good Christians.
See that? See that? Guys, remember the time, Marcos. Lord willing, if I'm better tomorrow, 3 minutes, 32 seconds. Rumble, 3 minutes, 32 seconds. Okay, see that? You know who's at fault? Brother, he's taking a shot at you too, Wild Snail. It's not just Catholics, brother. Historically, in Arabia, all the churches, the Miaphysites, what we call Oriental Orthodox, the Byzantine Church, which is Eastern Orthodox, Catholic, Physitism, even the Nestorians, they would not have denied Mary's the mother of God. Now, the Nestorians would have said mother of Christ, meaning she's the mother of the composite Christ, the one who's the God-man. But he just said he didn't learn it from any good Christians and didn't learn it from the Bible. Yeah, Rogers, I did. Natalie, take it easy. I don't know who your friends are and why you're so scared of them. All right? You see why I believe it was from the Lord to address his claims? Lord willing, I'm sorry. We're going to have fun with Amŷn, but my head is hurting from the heat.